Michael, you've talked throughout this season about Justin Holiday's sort of readiness as he's been in and out of the rotation and kind of changing roles. What have you sort of liked about him at both ends in this series so far?
He makes shots and he's disciplined. He's playing really well for us. Every time he's been called upon this season, he's gone out there and done his job, and that's what you want from a veteran player like Justin Holiday.
Michael, the level of physicality that was allowed seemed to change from games 1 and 2 to game 3. So going into game 4, how do you want your team to approach that? Do you play with the assumption that it's going to be like games 1 and 2 and scale it back from there, or assume it's going to be like game 3?
Well, I have no idea how the game will be called, but we have to play with the physical mindset. I felt we came out in game 3 and probably for the first time in this series and maybe for the playoffs, got off to a great start. And our physicality, our screening, our defense all allowed us to get off to a start where we won the first quarter by 8. But this is the playoffs. Regardless of the referees, they're going to come out ultra aggressive. We know that, and we have to not match that. We have to find a way to exceed their aggression and their physicality.
Coach, so much of the talk about the physicality has often started on the ball. It's even started in the backcourt, just with the way that Jamal and Nikola have sort of changed their approach in game 3 of screening a little bit harder, trying to get the first step. Just how do you expect Minnesota to react to that and in some different way of changing things?
I expect them to, you have to love a young player like Anthony Edwards, who after a tough home loss in front of an unbelievable crowd, takes complete ownership and says he has to set the tone for his team by being more aggressive. And so you look at him in particular, he's gone from 43 points to 27 points to 19 points. He only had 8 points in our paint in the last game. So I think Anthony Edwards is going to put it upon himself to come out and set the tone and be aggressive on both ends of the floor. But they blew us out. We responded. I have no doubt that we came in here and won by 27, that they're going to respond. And I think a key in that first quarter was we had no turnovers. So now you're not fueling that break. And if you fuel the break and get the crowd into the game, this place is a very tough place to play. So we once again have to play a very clean game. We only had 3 turnovers the entire first half. That allowed us to kind of get back and set our defense. But we got to meet physicality with physicality.
Coach, AG said after Monday's loss that you guys win in game 3 and you'll gain some of the momentum back. And maybe it's a better question for after the game, but can you get the sense that momentum has swung back in your favor?
I don't think anything swung in our favor. I think we won one game. I think we're still down 2-1, so that's why there wasn't any celebration. There wasn't any, smiling and laughing and joking around that locker room. We did what we needed to do to stay in the series, but we're still down 2-1 with the big game in front of us. So I don't know if momentum has shifted or not. I just know that we finally won a game in this series.
Michael, I was wondering, is it harder or easier to trust good process in the playoffs when every game means so much? You get the shots you want from a guy, and for whatever reason that night they miss. Is it harder or easier to just go back to that because you know that guy can make that shot, or you know that they can make that rotation?
Well, yeah, I think really good question. And for me, for 6 years now, this is 6 consecutive playoff runs. And coming off of a run last year where you're able to win, 16 playoff games and win your first championship, and you have your starting 5 back. So as disappointing as game 2 was, I've been with these guys a bunch. And so with that, David, comes trust. And, Jamal Murray's 3 for 18. I know Jamal Murray's going to bounce back because I've seen him do it time and time again. I know Nicola's going to bounce back because he's a 3-time MVP, and the core group that we have. So I think for me, yes, trusting our players, trusting the process, and the experience in big moments and watching our guys come through time and time again has allowed me to trust them and feel that they are going to rise to the occasion like we did. Biggest challenge today, you get a big win, an emotional win, a great atmosphere. Can you be better today? Because we're going to have to be. We were great the other night. They weren't, anywhere close to the level we know they are capable of being at. And today, if this series kind of gets back to where we expected it to be, will be like game one. Be a 3-point game with 3 minutes to go, and who's going to execute down the stretch. And hopefully we can find a way to get another one here and go home in front of our fans, tied up at 2-2.
Michael, something along those lines. You've always had the pulse of the team very well and knew what they needed and always kind of said that to us. I was wondering, after they won a championship, have you learned anything about pushing the buttons for a championship team compared to before they won a championship?
Well, you can't fight City Hall every day. I can't push that button over and over and over again. 82 games is a long season, as you know. And we went into the season fully understanding that the bullseye was now on our back. We had changed roles from being a team that was hunting the champion to becoming a team that was hunted. And I think 57 wins, 21-6 after the All-Star break, a lot of great things we did this year. Our players accepted the responsibility that comes with being a champion. But throughout their season, yes, there were times where I had to, kind of push those buttons and remind them of who we are, what we're trying to accomplish, and what needs to be done. But I couldn't be more proud of our group because all year long, I think they've taken it upon themselves. And if it's always me, we're only going so far. But when our players hold each other accountable and they understand what time it is, then you have a chance to do something special.
Two-parter. Jamal said that he was tightening up in the last game. Do you expect any limitations from him tonight? And then second off, do you think that he embraces that role of being the villain? They booed him a lot in that last game, and he stepped up to the plate.
As far as the first question, we'll see how he's moving, how his body is responding. The luxury between game 2 and 3 was that we had damn near 2 weeks off, it seemed like, and so his body was able to, get some rest. That's not the case now. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround going from 3 to 4. So we'll see how his body is moving and how he's playing, and that will kind of determine the minutes and what is being placed upon his shoulders. As far as the villain role, I don't know if he embraces being the villain or not. I just know some guys can play with emotion and some guys can't. And Jamal Murray is a guy that can play with emotion. I go back to his rookie year, for those that remember. He was coming off the bench. We were playing Chicago. We were getting blown out. We put him in the game, and that's the first time I saw this dude pulling out arrows from an imaginary quiver and shooting at everybody in the crowd. And he feeds off that energy, whether it's positive or negative. He feeds off of it, and I'm sure it'll be the same today.